When you finally discover your true personality type, the level of accuracy and the reliability can be nothing short of amazing, no matter the personality. However, when an INFJ begins to understand their type, liberation and life-changing realizations are just the beginning. Welcome back, Psycho. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 8 amazing things that happen when the INFJ discovers their personality type. But before we start, have you liked and subscribed to our channel? Go ahead, and be sure to click the notification bell while you're there so that you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1. You realize it's not worth being butthurt over feeling misunderstood. An INFJ that truly feels understood by the people in their lives is indeed on a rare one. In fact, it's right around adolescence to adulthood that people with the INFJ personality type really begin to figure out that they're so much different than the people around them. Whether it's their need for questioning everything around them, their wavering social interest, or the fact that they require a lot of alone time, it's not easy to justify where these preferences stem from. When an INFJ doesn't know that these unique quirks are all just a part of their personality type, they may feel pressured to put on a false front, or worse, give up on participating in social activities and friendships altogether, in hopes of avoiding feeling further misunderstood. Whether an INFJ chooses conformity or bitterness, all of that changes when they begin to unfold the ins and outs of their personality type. Once an INFJ learns to embrace their complexities, they can avoid unrealistic expectations by allowing their personality to unfold to the people who most deserve it. Number 2. You can finally trust your intuition. Intuition. The silent and invisible guidance system that barely passes as a form of reasoning to most personality types. Sometimes considered woo-woo or even completely non-existent, this same guidance system happens to be the INFJ's main driving inner function. And while most INFJs witness the power of their intuitive gifts from a young age, the world isn't exactly encouraging when it comes to relying on inner gut feelings to navigate through life. This leaves most INFJs who have yet to discover their personality type to try their best to put their findings of the intuitive observations on the back burner. Yet, once an INFJ has learned the reasoning behind these thinking habits, they can finally learn to trust them, ultimately allowing their inner guidance system to lead them to a happy and fulfilling life that isn't surrounding pleasing others. Number 3. You stop having guilt for refusing to take things at face value. At times, most INFJs come to a point of wondering what it would feel like to practice the concept of ignorance is bliss, as it can become seriously exhausting to question everything with such depth. During adolescence and childhood, many INFJs tend to look to their friends and acquaintances, wondering how it's so easy for them to live a life of not overthinking and over-questioning their surroundings. The rules that are set out for us and the exceptions of society, this can leave some people with this introspective personality type questioning if they're ungrateful for not being happy with just embracing what is. Yet, once an INFJ realizes that their deep and curious nature is just how they're wired, they can finally utilize this questioning to their benefit. In fact, as soon as an INFJ accepts this about themselves, they can more easily see the power in the answers and discoveries their questioning leads them to. Number 4. You realize you're not actually as confusing as you thought. Sure, INFJs may be considered to have one of the more complex personality types, most particularly surrounding their contradicting and out-of-the-box nature. However, at the end of the day, they're not as confusing as they may seem, and in reality, all that really matters is that the INFJ understands themselves, especially being the type who so often prefers to focus and understand the emotions of others. In fact, some people with this type may even purposefully distract themselves from attempting to understand themselves because they genuinely don't know where to start. They don't know who to look up to, never mind relate to, in a world that seems to misunderstand them. Yet when an INFJ is able to relate to other INFJ experiences, everything changes. Instead of feeling obligated to silence their deep-seated morals and feelings for the sake of fitting in, an INFJ who understands themselves is an INFJ who is confident in their actions. Number 5. You befriend your internal dialogue. While most people can say that they have an inner dialogue of some sort, not all inner voices are created equal. And when it comes to the INFJ inner workings, sometimes these thoughts can be quite self-critical, self-judgmental, and even a little unrealistically ideal in some scenarios. But beside the fact that this introspective type can easily slip down the rabbit hole of spiraling thoughts and contemplation, the worst of it all is when the INFJ has no idea why other people don't dwell like they do. Similar to the confusion that comes up with an untyped INFJ realizes other people don't question everything around them, this deep and sometimes unearthly inner voice can be quite unsettling. Luckily, when an INFJ can conceptualize this inner voice by relating to others and learning more about the patterns of their subconscious mind, this inner dialogue becomes a psychological teammate rather than a critical opponent. Number 6. You can decline plans and hibernate in peace. Speaking of internal dialogue, INFJs are continuously stuck in a predicament of when and how often they should be stepping outside of their comfort zone and going against their introverted ways. Considered one of the more extroverted of the introvert MBTI types, the INFJ undoubtedly has a social spark that they can activate when necessary. However, for the majority of the people that share this intuitive type, there's nothing quite like some honest R&R. And for the INFJ who finally discovers that they just aren't equipped with the same social battery like that of some other types, it's basically a free pass to chill with no guilt. Sure, your inner voice is going to question if you're wasting away your younger years being an introvert, or maybe it'll try and convince you that your career would advance if you were to just do a little more networking. But if you're truly an INFJ, boundaries surrounding your peace and quiet can be the best form of self-care. And that's the exact excuse you're going to run with. Number 7. You stop feeling picky for insisting on deeper connections. Contrary to this free pass to hibernation, there's no avoiding the fact that, in the end, every INFJ still craves some sort of deeper connection to humans. Whether it's in the form of friendship or romance, this intuitive type is always willing to go the extra mile if they think they may be potential for a deeper relationship. Yet, in a world that pushes the importance of having multiple connections for the sake of social status, an INFJ who doesn't know this about themselves can easily doubt their specific preferences. They may push themselves to maintain unfulfilling relationships or end up settling for mediocrity for the sake of fitting in. However, when an INFJ knows that they have the right to be picky, they can more easily set their boundaries with confidence without feeling horribly selfish. By doing this, the INFJ can use their small window of sociability to better focus on the more rewarding connections along the way. And number 8, you can begin to decipher between dreams you should chase and ones you should leave as fantasy. There is no doubting the daydreaming capabilities of the INFJ personality type. With dreams and imagination acting as their true happy place, the INFJ can file through hundreds of potential scenarios before making any decisions in life. Not only that, but this envisioning tendency allows them to see multiple angles of and perspectives of situations. However, dreaming isn't as easy as it seems, especially when it comes to knowing which dreams should be made into goals, and which ones are meant to remain in fantasy land permanently. In fact, if this intuitive type isn't aware of the importance of their intuition, they can actually end up following some pretty out-of-character paths in life, when an INFJ is able to take these dreams for what they are, ultimately organizing them as realistic and unrealistic. Life gets a little more interesting when they can finally see this distinction. INFJs can let their imaginations run wild without the worry of being irrational or inappropriate. And with an open mind, you never know just what may make its way into fruition. Alright Cycles, that's it for today. So, what's the most life-changing realization you had when you discovered your personality type? Let us know in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos.